it's so awesome to be here, and I hope that you're loving this energy because I'm sitting there taking notes with tons of great ideas, and I know that for the rest of the day we're going to continue to have those amazing experiences. This is a really special introduction to me because 2 years ago I was sitting at a conference very similar to this one and had a sidebar conversation learning about this amazing organization called Opportunity International. Up to that point in time, I had heard of poverty, but I didn't truly understand what poverty was. But I heard this inspirational story of someone who was 24 years old at the time that gave $4 million of her own money to fund an organization called Young Ambassadors for Opportunity. And this group of people were leaders from around the world that come together to try to solve one of the most critical problems, and that is poverty. And the vehicle to use that was microfinance. So hearing about that, I inquired, and I had a chance to be able to engage and meet our next speaker. The Young Ambassadors Opportunity provided an experience for me to travel to Tanzania and Rwanda, and coming back from that experience, seeing and meeting with our loan clients, seeing the true face of the children, the mothers, the families that were being empowered to make a difference, I came back wanting to see what I could do to use my entrepreneur background to share the word, to raise money, and to make an impact. You're going to hear more about a really unique opportunity that's going to be taking place tomorrow that all of you, we'd love to have you share and experience with us, but we'll have to stay tuned before we officially launch that. Our next speaker, Liesel Pritzker, is the Vice President and Director in Program Development for IDP Foundation, Inc. The Foundation's keystone initiative, the IDP Rising Schools Program, invests in schools and social businesses around the world. In a little over a year, the program has already empowered 120 existing but very poor private schools. Ms. Pritzker is also the co-founder of Young Ambassadors for Opportunity, which is a network of over 500 globally minded young professionals and entrepreneurs who are dedicated to learning about microfinance and how it can contribute to a sustainable solution for poverty alleviation. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage Ms. Liesel Pritzker.
So thank you, Jason. That was very nice. So I am not an entrepreneur, and so when I was asked to speak here, I thought, okay, well, what are some programs that our foundation is doing to support entrepreneurship? And really, so Jason said a little bit about the IDP Rising Schools program and what the IDP Foundation is doing to invest in schools as social businesses. So we've been talking about educating entrepreneurs and what entrepreneurs need at university, at the university level. But what I want to talk about for a little bit is take us sort of outside the US. We're going to go over to Ghana for a little bit and talk about a class of entrepreneurs that their business is education, their business is schools, and why this is a really unique opportunity to invest in entrepreneurship. So in terms of, so here's a picture, this is a business. This is not a school, it is a school, but it's a business. It's a private school, and there are, in Ghana, about 15,000 schools that look like this. In Haiti, 60% of the schools look like this. In Liberia, about 40% of the schools look like this. Schools that are outside of the government system, usually in post-conflict zones, private schools, I'm not talking, obviously I'm not talking about Harvard. Private schools look like this. And they're started in communities. They are started by entrepreneurs who say, wow, there's a need. I guess I'm going to need to start a school. I'm going to need some money to do that, so I'm going to charge tuition. It's usually very sort of a small percentage, about 20% of the parents' income goes towards schools like this. And they start these schools and they look like this, under a tree. And they're doing the best they can because there is no government school, or the government school is so overcrowded and teachers' unions are protesting and blah, 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 and all the reasons why everybody wants to send their kids to private school over public school. It also exists amongst illiterate parents all over the world. So entrepreneurs come in all shapes and sizes. So the thing is one of the reasons why we wanted to invest in these kinds of schools is when I was in college, I went over and I worked in one of these schools, and I also worked in a microfinance institution. And the owner of the school I was working at was saying, you know, gosh, I really love, the kids are getting older, I need to build another classroom block. And I said, well, why don't you go to a microfinance institution, get a loan from the bank to do that? You know, you can show that you're generating income on the tuition and all of that. And they said, they won't give loans to me. I said, really? You're like the definition of a transformational business. Why won't a microfinance institution lend to you? And I went to my microfinance, the microfinance institution I was at, and started asking around, and they said, schools aren't credit worthy. Schools like this aren't credit worthy. You know, we'll lend to elite public schools, but we won't lend to these kinds of schools. I mean, this sort of didn't make sense. So luckily, Opportunity International is a little bit more forward-thinking and was saying, okay, we have to figure out a way to lend to these kinds of businesses, because this is what we really want to be doing. So we developed a training module. We do 12 weeks of training. We've created a network of these kinds of schools, treating them as businesses, getting them registered as businesses, and also with the Ghana Education Service, and providing them with, oh wait, let me click through, because, so this school, then, so this is what they look like. But, so we do all of these trainings with the school and investing in the entrepreneur and their own capacity building. So I guess what my point is you don't necessarily need to start a business to have impact. We didn't start any of these schools. They're there. They need to be empowered. They need to be lifted to the next level. And so sometimes the best way that you can educate an entrepreneur is to tell them to not start a business, to actually look around the community and see what's already there, and build up what's already there. So I want to tell a story of Lily. So with the first school we just saw was Lily's school. She started, she had 50 students in her classroom, had difficulty getting the loan, and didn't also know kind of basic accounting, wasn't able to pay her teachers on time or collect cash flow. Lily lives in a cocoa growing region, so cocoa farmers they get paid twice a year, during the major harvest and the minor harvest. So with a little bit of training, we said, Lily, don't take tuition daily, take it biannually. Take it when your parents have the money to pay you. So Lily did this, was able to pay her teachers more and keep them on board longer. It's really, really a very small investment. So then, she went through our program, she got an $8,000 loan, and she built this classroom block with it. And within a month, she had 500 students. So from 50 to 500 students, talk about hypergrowth. So anyway, what I'm saying is we didn't start this school. And a lot of businesses that are already out there and they need to be empowered. How do we create systems to identify those kinds of businesses and empower them and build capacity within those businesses themselves? So I guess what I'll just end with that story, because I think that as a philanthropist and as not an entrepreneur, as somebody that wants to support entrepreneurship, this to me is one of the most impactful ways to encourage the education of entrepreneurs, and even an entrepreneur that is educating future generations. So thank you.